back to another video, and today I'll be talking about my Godzilla collection. You might know a lot of other YouTubers that like to talk about their toys, and today I'm going to talk about my Godzilla collection. I'll rate them, what's good about them, and out of the 10, and I'll also say some good things. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. My goal is to reach 70 subscribers. And also, thank you for making me able to get to the 50 from my last goal. All right, into the video. I have a lot of small ones and big guys, and we're going to start with the smallest ones and go to the bigger ones. So we got this guy right here. He's pretty small. He does not have a lot to do. His mouth doesn't really move. His tail is pretty movable. But if you had like a city kind of like this, you'd be pretty small. You wouldn't even be that big. His feet though move, so that's one good thing. His arms can move. So out of 10, his spikes are movable, especially this one right here. Out of 10, I really like the design, how they painted it. There's nothing really too bad, just that you can't really move the head or anything. Out of 10, I would rate this 5 or 6. This is a really cool design. Let's go to the next one. Next one, we still got some smaller ones to do, but I got 2 other ones that isn't, well, 3 actually. 3, 4, 5, like around 5 other ones that don't really go with Godzilla, but are characters from the Godzilla movies. So second one, we got Rodan. This is an older Rodan, probably around in the 90s. His wings are kind of hard, but at the end you can move them. His head doesn't move, and his legs don't really move. But if you're trying to make him like do a little cool flying thing, that would be really cool. Then again, he's still not that big. Sure, he's not supposed to be too big compared to the Godzillas, but he's still supposed to be pretty big. So out of this, I would give it around a 4 or a 5. It's not really movable, but the design is really cool for this guy. Next one is Space Godzilla. We got, his hands can move back, but they don't really move forward. His spikes don't really move. His mouth, his head doesn't move. His tail is very movable, but only around the end. His feet can move a lot. Still, he's pretty small. So far out of the other ones that we've done, this is probably, I would say, a 6. I'd rate this one a 6. It's very movable. I might go for a 7. This one's very movable, especially that tail at the end. His hands move. The design is just amazing out of the other 2. And his feet are super movable. Next, we got the exact opposite of what you would think of Earth Godzilla. He's small. His design is really cool still. His tail, the end of his tail is pretty movable. His head and everything does not move. The hands move, the feet move. Compared to the other Godzillas, he is not really that big in size compared to them. He's around the same size. Space Godzilla is a bit bigger though. So out of these, Earth Godzilla might not be the biggest, but he's definitely really cool. I'll give this guy a 5. Most part of it's because of the design. The things that I don't really like is that his mouth is pretty small. You can't open it, can't move it. The feet do move well, but they're not really well like Space Godzilla's. So next one is Shin Godzilla. His legs are movable. You can really put him in any position and he'll still stand up. Almost in every position. His tail is not movable. His hands are movable, but they're not really that good of movable hands. The feet are pretty hard. Nothing's really that movable on this guy. So I guess out of a 10, maybe a 3, maybe a 2. I would probably go for a 2. He really can only move his feet. Next one is 2019 Godzilla, I believe. Out of all of this, I think he's one of my favorites out of the mini guys. His tail is not that movable, but still can move a good amount at the very end. His hands are movable. You can move them a lot more than other ones. You can move them a lot more than you can move them a lot more than the other mini Godzillas. His head and mouth still don't really move. The feet are really amazing. They can really move around. Pretty similar to Space Godzilla's, maybe even better. I'd rate this guy a 6. I really like his design. Almost the last one of the mini Godzillas. And the very last one is not gonna be a Godzilla, but is related to Godzilla. Alright, we got Burning Godzilla. You can move his hands, but they don't really move that much. I really like his fire design. His feet are very movable. But I will say that this foot's a lot easier to move than this foot. The tail's not that movable. The very end looks like his tail got chopped off. His head is bigger than all the other ones, almost. And you can actually see the details better on the face instead. So, and I do like that his design on his spikes are like more colorful. They got the red design and stuff. So out of this, I would pick this as a 6. This is a 6 design Godzilla. Alright, the last of the mini ones is Ghidorah. Now this one's an old version, and one of the little annoying things about this guy is that his head can easily move off, but his head moves so much that just saying that they can come off doesn't really matter. But also in the 2019 movie, one of them does come off, so maybe that's part of it. The head design you can see a lot more. Only one of the mouths are open, but you can actually kind of push the mouths back down. I like how the horns are made. You can really move this guy here. He doesn't have his wings for some reason. He didn't come with wings. His feet go all at once. So, oh wait. They're kind of, you can make them go all at once. You can also make one foot go by the other one. That's a really cool thing. That's really cool. His tails are really close together, and when you like pull them apart, it's kind of hard to do it, and they just go slowly right back to the position they were in before. So I really like this guy. I think I would give him a 7. He's like pretty much one of my favorites of the mini Godzillas. All right, we're done with the mini Godzillas. Let's go to 2014 Godzilla. There's a lot more to say with this guy since they are a lot bigger than the other ones. By like a lot. He's very movable. He would be more around the building heights, so he would be more accurate. If you had what I had for the buildings, he would be way more accurate. You can move his waist a lot. There's a button at the bottom that you can also do it. When you push down, the back goes up. His hands, his arm is movable. His elbow is movable, and the start of his arm is really movable. You can open his mouth and close it. That's another really cool part. The bad thing about that though is that it will usually go back down to open, so it's mostly open. The hands are really movable. You can keep them in certain spots. I can make this guy wave pretty easily. His feet are movable, but not really that far. You can easily move them, but they don't really go that far. His tail design is really cool, but there's this one part that keeps coming off sometimes. And also, his paint, it looks like his paint is starting to come off. But I like how they did this design. I think I would give it a 6, mostly because how articulating and easy it is to move them. Next one is the new Mechagodzilla. Again, he's perfect for the building fights and would be not that bad with Godzilla. Godzilla would be bigger in this scenario instead of Mechagodzilla, because in the movie he was bigger Mechagodzilla. But you can size him up just a little bit more for it to be more average. His legs can easily move. His feet can move sideways. That's a really cool addition. You can move the legs so it looks like he's running. He got the jet boosters on the back so it looks like he could fly. The tail is very easy to move and can move in a lot of different positions. There's this one part in the back that also helps it. It's very easy to like put in different positions than a lot of the other ones that I'm going to be talking about. The arms are really movable too, but you can't move this part of the arm. That doesn't move. Same with this one. We finally have one that can open the mouth and stay in that position at certain times. It can stay in that position. It would also look good for an atomic of breath since it can stay that still. Out of this, I think this is probably a 7 or an 8. This is like a really good moving one. I got this a couple years ago too. Next we got 2019 Godzilla, I believe. This guy is pretty big. Again, he would fit perfectly for the buildings. This guy doesn't do a lot though. You can move his legs. That's a really cool addition. His arms kind of are hard to push and move back. His dorsal plates are really cool because they're blue. You can't move his tail that well, but you can move right here. Can't move his mouth or anything, but the details on him is really good. You can't really move his feet, only the legs. I would give this guy a 5. Mostly the designing and the certain parts that you can really move. Next one is Kong. This is the third last one that isn't Godzilla, but is related to the Godzilla movies or in the Godzilla movies. Kong is huge compared to the buildings. He would easily just hit them over easily. He's very big compared to the buildings, so if you put him up against like this Godzilla, that wouldn't be a very even battle and wouldn't fit that well in the movie. He is pretty big though, so he would be able to fit with the other Godzilla I have. Maybe not the other one. I have a really big one that's like at least 2 feet tall almost. This guy is about 1 foot tall. So the very last one, this guy would look small at. But in a little bit, we're gonna have a Godzilla that would be even at this guy's size. His legs can move, his feet can move, his arms can move, hands can move. This one is harder to move though, but still possible. You can rotate his head pretty well. You can't close the jaw though. He's really good. I would give this guy a 6. It's very movable. The details are amazing. Next, we got Thermal Godzilla. This guy's small. He's around the other sizes of the other guys, but still pretty small compared to them. He would be a good fight against Mecha Godzilla. If you haven't watched my stop motion battles, this guy is in it with that Mecha Godzilla. I can't tell you who won. You gotta watch the video to check it out. His tail can move pretty well. At the end, it's just super good how easily you can move it. It won't stay in that position though, so that's another little bum about it. The legs can move. It looks like you could move a certain part on it, but it's very hard to do. You can move the feet, but that's also pretty hard. It's pretty tight on him. It's very hard to move the arms. You can rotate the wrist pretty well. The hands are easy to move for the other side as well. It's hard to move the head, and the jaw is possible to open, but it's really, really hard. Spikes are also really hard and strong and are not really flexible. His design is amazing though. I think so far this guy might be one of my favorites. I would give him an 8 for his amazing design. He can move a good amount, and there is a lot of good things about him, but really it's just about how you can move the arms and the hands and the head and the mouth. Except that this is a really cool one, and I would give it a 7. Next is the Godzilla that would fit against Kong. This isn't the second last one I'm doing. There is a Godzilla that's smaller than him, but is a lot longer, and might be my longest Godzilla. You may have heard about him once. I don't know, but this guy is really cool. He was my first Godzilla as well as I got. He wasn't in my battle, but against these two, they're pretty even sizes, even though they were made at long different times. This was Final Wars Godzilla, made around 2001. This is Kong from 2021. So that's just a 20 different year difference, and they're at the same size. His mouth can't move. His head is very movable. The arms are very easy to move. This arm is a little bit harder though than that one. The legs can move, the feet can move. But there is one thing about this Godzilla that's a bit weird with the legs. He's very, if you move the body, his legs are very easy to move away from where you're moving him. He's also is very, you gotta find, it's very hard to put him in a position that looks like he would be normally standing. Also, is it me or does the ears on the side make him look more like a cat? Same as the nose. The tail, the back is really cool. I don't think the paint got messed up or anything. This is just how I got him at the start. I kind of like that design. The tail right here, has this weird thing that looks like it's coming off, but really isn't. And just slowly just opens more and more wider. Easy to move though. This part of the tail easy to move. Not easy to twist though. Only this part is easy to twist, but not this part. This one can only go back and forth. Out of this, I would give this one an 8. This is a really cool one, and it was my first one. Next is, these are the last two ones that are related to Godzilla, but aren't Godzilla. Now you'll probably be thinking, now I know what the one you're talking about, or you may have known before which one I was talking about, because we got Jet Jaguar and his little assistant buddy. And you know what these guys are from if you're really into Godzilla and know a lot about him. It's only from the one and only Singular Point Godzilla. The longest one I have, and is a lot bigger to a Jet Jaguar than I thought he was. His mouth can move. His arms can really easy to move. His hands can move, but there's one thing about them. They're very easy to take off. So if you're using this guy, it'll be very normal if you his hands come off. It's not anything bad. Sometimes when it's easy to move the head around, sometimes when you're opening the jaw, you could open it a little too far, and the sides might get stuck, and it's very hard to get that back on. These spikes are super hard to touch, and they feel really hard as well. The legs don't really move that well, but everything else on the foot and the knee is really good about him. His tail is huge and can really move into different positions. I lost this guy's end tail because that one also comes off a lot. His tail at the end is very easy to come off. So if you see it come off, you can easily just pop it right back on. Out of this, I would give this a 9. This is my favorite Godzilla toy. He's very movable and everything. Let's just take him over here, put him back, put his little bros over there too. It would be actually a good fight with the mini Godzillas, actually. They would actually be a fair size to them. That's actually something pretty cool. It would be a good fight with the minier Godzillas. But to the, other Godzillas I have, they are super duper small. I gotta get the other one because it's the biggest one, and this is the last one that I'm doing. So get ready. You've been able to see his hand for a while, and he's not my favorite, but he is one of the coolest. Say hello to 2021 Godzilla. He is super cool, big, really big. But something about the last Godzilla I just told you about, singular point, his tail is longer and taller than this Godzilla. So that just shows how big that other Godzilla is, and that's why I put him in the second. His arms are really easy to move, same as his hands. This one is a bit tighter though. Nothing really comes off of this guy. This little part of his tail can move. The end can move, but you really gotta push on it. His feet are easy to move. This leg is easy to move, but this one you gotta like put force into it for it to move. The little toes can move on the bottom. The mouth can move, but not a lot. Head can't move. This is one of the coolest parts of him, if I can find the button. There we go. He lights up. His spikes are really easy to move, and they glow during the night. And his eyes are super shiny. If you go at nighttime and put this on, it would be like a night light, but it doesn't go on for a while. You'd have to keep hitting it. I think he makes around 3 different noises. I don't remember. This guy uses batteries though, so make sure you got the batteries. I don't know what batteries, but yeah. That here was those were all the Godzillas that I have yet. I might have a lot more Godzillas. I don't know. And if I do, I'll show you them and compare you to the other ones. But there was nothing that reached top 10, like 10 out of 10 yet. But it was very close. They got to 9. They got to an 8. I think one of them got 9. I can't remember. But these were all my Godzilla toys I had. And I'll let you see them for a little bit because I'm still putting them all together. At the end, I'll give you like around 10 seconds to just see all the Godzilla toys comparison all together. I don't know if you'll be able to see Kong in the back. I think you will be able to though. But yep, this will be the end. Make sure you like and subscribe to Mecha Kong K, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Goodbye!